Well, what are we looking at here today? We are looking at a bit of history on these rifles. The 1870 Italian Vetterli is, of course, it's actually a Swiss design. This was manufactured, I should say, actually, not so much manufactured, but made by, or invented, I should say, by Vetterli. He was a Swiss, so these are originally a Swiss rifle, the reason this one is called a, well, actually, if you go back to 1870, the Italian Army adopted these. It's an adopted, but it's a modified Vetterli design. It's not really modified all that much. It's pretty close to the original one. The only difference being was the original ones actually made in 1869 by the Swiss actually had, well, they were 10.35 millimeter, so quite a bit bigger barrel diameter wise. And they also had an 11 round tubular magazine, and that was basically a repeating rifle they came up with first. The Swiss did. And they had that one up until, let's see, what was it, 1881 or something like that. But they switched over and they started using the 1871, but the Italians were kind of strange. They went ahead and the first rifle they came out with, the Italians did, was the first variant was the 1870, and it was 10.35 by 47 mmR, so millimeters, and it was kind of a weird thing. And they had these are all chambered, center fire ammunition, but also it fired black powder. These are black powder cartridges. So you have those, and black powder actually is less pressure than smokeless powder. But and then in 1887, the Italian Army updated its single shot, because when they first came out in 1870, these are only a single shot rifle. In 1887, the Italian Army, or military, updated single shot model 1870 rifles with a 4-round Vetterli box magazine. So this is the Vetterli box magazine, it's hanging down here. Then, during World War I, like many nations, Italy faced a shortage of modern firearms. So these were actually infantry rifles. As a stopgap measure, hundreds of thousands of I keep getting tied up on there. The Vetterli rifles and a few carbines and musketoons were converted in Rome and Gardone to fire the 6.5 by 5.2 millimeter Carcano rounds by adding a 6 millimeter barrel liner and a Carcano style magazine. These conversions were never meant for extended firing with standard 6.5 by 5.2 loads, as a smokeless powder 6.5 by 5.2 cartridge generates higher pressure than the black powder of the 10.35 by 47 millimeter, but have withstood modern CIP proof firing without difficulty. So what they did was, when they proof a barrel, or proof fire a barrel, basically what it is they put a double load in it. And if the barrel doesn't explode, that's what you call proof firing. So that they know it can, the single round with the standard amount of powder, it will withstand it with no trouble at all, since they they tried double amounts of powder in it. So that was one thing. But actually in 1886, no, it's the 1889, the Swiss actually stopped using the Vetterli rifles, because what they did was they exchanged that for the brand new Schmidt Swiss Ruben, the 1889 Schmidt Swiss Ruben, which they had up until, the Swiss had until 1931. That's what this one is. And this is the one I've actually fired, this one. But the ammo this one takes, 6.52 by 53. No, 55. 6.5 by 5.5. That's what this one is. And these, the Carcano, takes a 6.5 by 5.2. So the difference between the two is not very much. Okay, so they're like this. Here we go here. And really, the length, this is the Carcano round, and this is the Swiss 6.5 by 5.5. But you don't dare put one of these inside of the bigger Swiss round. You don't put that in a Carcano. Basically, that'll get stuck in your rifle. There's no way you can chamber that. So they are not interchangeable cartridges. But anyway, now the other thing with this, and I'll have to bring you over to take a closer look at the other rifle. Let's see here. In fact, I'll have to get some light on it because it's kind of dark. Alright. Let's go with this. Okay. The other thing was, the other day I wasn't using this, but I'll show you this. This is a push button over here, and this is how you move the sight up and down. You can, it's stepped, so you can go, you know, up to 400 yards. But that's where that is. Then, if you look, I have to get this up out of the way here, get a closer look even, and we're going to do this on the side, and let's see if I can focus it. Let's see, I gotta get just enough light, otherwise you won't see it. Okay, right at the very edge there at the bottom. Right, see where this area is right here, where it's got an octagonal shape? Alright, at the very bottom of that it says 1886. Then above that is the armory, the name of the armory, Torre Annunziata. That's there. And then above that is actually a number there. Well, it's actually a scroll work setup from the armory, basically saying that this passed the test in proof testing. And then there's actually on the other side, there's actually the serial number of the rifle itself. So there are all kinds of marks on it. And then at the very back of this, there's also the serial numbers on the butt exactly. So this is all numbers matching, the entire thing is. And let's see, just pick this up here. The Carcano carbine, this one here, this is also one I've shot. It's the 6.52 by 6.5 by 5.2, I should say. This one here is exactly same as that, but if you take a look at the barrel, you can definitely see there's a difference in the bore diameter. Let's get a closer look at the end. All right. Okay, now we'll take a look at that one. And then we're going to go ahead, right next to it, we're going to have this one. So, the thickness, it's actually thicker than this one. This is just a standard 6.5 by 5.2 millimeter. That's also 6.5. This is the inside diameter is, but the outside, that's 10 millimeter on the outside. So that's what happened when they sleeved those. So really, you really got to figure it's really not going to go ahead and blow up on you, because it's got just a liner going down the middle, so it's taking more of the pressure, and besides it's been proof tested. So there you go. So anyway, there's a little background on these rifles, and that'll be it for today. Talk to you guys later.